What if I told you the only way to rise in Hollywood is to be humiliated first? And NLE Choppa just admitted it. NLE Choppa said it himself. I passed my humiliation ritual with flying colors. But who gave him that test? In Hollywood, they don't buy your talent, they break your pride. Choppa says he survived that break. Katt Williams said, once they own your humiliation, they own you. So who owns NLE Choppa now? This isn't a conspiracy anymore. Choppa flat out confessed, and the industry is panicking. You're about to hear the part of Hollywood they never wanted you to know. And Choppa might have already paid the price. I've already been through my humiliation ritual, and I didn't just survive it, I passed it with flying colors. But mine was different from most. While others lose themselves in the process, I stayed close to God every step of the way. I kept praying, kept searching for truth, and kept my faith steady no matter how rough it got. See, people say that in Hollywood, once you sell your soul, your biggest job becomes pretending you never did. That's the performance behind the spotlight. Deny everything, distract the audience, and keep the illusion alive. Fame isn't just about talent anymore. It's about control. The higher you climb, the tighter the grip gets. And right now, one of the loudest voices pulling the curtain back is Katt Williams. He's been talking about the industry's dark side for years, but this time, he's calling names, and one of them is NLE Choppa. According to Katt, Choppa's rise to fame didn't come without a price. On the surface, Choppa sells peace, balance, and spiritual awakening. He talks about meditation, vegan living, and walking with God. But behind that enlightened image, Katt hints there's something else, a trade-off, a test, maybe even a ritual. The idea that no one rises in Hollywood without paying some kind of cost. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable. Because when Katt talks, people listen. He's not a random YouTuber chasing views, he's someone who's been inside the machine. He's seen how it works, who it protects, and what happens when you stop playing by its rules. He says it plain, once they own your humiliation, they own you. That's why so many stars crash right after peaking: scandals, breakdowns, public meltdowns. To outsiders, it looks like bad luck. But to those paying attention, it looks like a system built to break people once they've served their purpose. And that's why NLE Choppa's story hit so hard. When he dropped that video saying, I did my humiliation ritual and I passed with flying colors, the internet froze. Nobody knew if he was trolling, confessing, or trying to reclaim his own power. He said he stayed grounded in prayer, rooted in faith, walking with God the entire time. But to most people watching, the contradiction was wild. How can something meant to shame you also be holy? How can a ritual that's supposed to strip your pride somehow bring you closer to God? That tension lit social media on fire. Some said Choppa was mocking the idea, that he was using the ritual label to get attention. Others believed he was dead serious, that he'd faced his initiation and was now talking about it openly because he knew they couldn't touch him anymore. But that's exactly how this game works. The moment someone tells the truth, the narrative shifts. They get labeled unstable, dramatic, or delusional, anything to make you doubt them. It's a strategy as old as Hollywood itself. Katt Williams knows it better than anyone. For years, they called him crazy too. Every time he exposed something about contracts, secret parties, manipulation, he got hit with another wave of bad press. Arrests, rumors, mugshots. But even through all of it, Katt never changed his tune. He kept saying, I'm not mad, I'm telling you what's really happening. And here's what's wild, almost everything he warned about years ago is surfacing now. The more he speaks, the more the puzzle pieces start to fit. The fake friendships. The contracts that never favor the artist. The media narratives that protect certain names while destroying others. That's why when Katt started talking about Choppa, people paid attention. He said Choppa's transformation, from a street rapper to a spiritual guru, wasn't as natural as it looked. That maybe, just maybe, it was the cost of entry into a new tier of fame. It's the same pattern fans have been noticing for years. An artist reaches the top, then something strange happens, a public breakdown, a weird performance, a bizarre outfit. It's almost formulaic. People start whispering, they made him do it. Even major media has noticed the trend. The idea of the humiliation ritual went from underground conspiracy talk to a mainstream meme. Anytime a celebrity does something shocking or out of character, the internet jumps, see? Another one. And honestly, it's hard to blame them. Fame today doesn't reward talent the way it used to. It rewards shock value. You don't have to sing better, rap harder, or act stronger. You just have to be louder, weirder, and more extreme than the next person. That's how you stay relevant in a culture that thrives on controversy. Just look at the examples. Lil Nas X went viral not just for his music, but for the outrage around it, the Satan shoes, the provocative visuals, the blasphemous imagery. Sam Smith and Kim Petras lit up the Grammy stage with a fiery red performance that had people literally rebuking their TVs. Every time, the reaction is the same: shock, debate, and millions of views. But for every viral headline, there's a deeper pattern that fame demands a sacrifice. Not always blood, not always literal, but something personal. Your peace, your pride, your reputation. The industry feeds on moments that break you down in public because once you're broken, you're easy to rebuild in their image. And that's the heart of what Katt Williams has been saying. Hollywood doesn't just buy your work, it buys your will. Once they own your image, your fear of losing it keeps you in line. That's why humiliation is the perfect weapon. It's psychological control disguised as entertainment. It keeps stars desperate to redeem themselves and fans too distracted to notice what's really going on. So when NLE Choppa said he passed his ritual, maybe he wasn't bragging. Maybe he was warning us. Maybe he was saying that in this business, you don't survive fame without losing something. The only question is what you're willing to trade. And if Katt Williams is right, that trade isn't about talent or luck. It's about obedience. Because in Hollywood, the real currency isn't money, it's silence. And honestly, that's what made the humiliation ritual talk explode online. People started noticing a pattern. A star blows up, then suddenly does something wild or out of character. The internet immediately says, see? They made him do it. It became a catchphrase for anything strange, shocking, or just plain off. Even major outlets started talking about it. Because let's be real, fame today isn't about talent anymore. It's about spectacle. The crazier you act, the more clicks you get. Just look at Lil Nas X. When he dropped Montero, Call Me By Your Name, and later released J. Christ, plus that wild Satan shoe collab with MSC Chef, the internet went into meltdown. Conservatives called it demonic, and conspiracy theorists said, there it is, another ritual. Lil Nas tried to brush it off, saying it was just marketing and that he was trolling. He even explained later that his art wasn't meant to mock religion, just to express his own rebirth, a coming back moment. But the imagery, the timing, the whole vibe, it was hard for people to ignore. Then came Sam Smith and Kim Petras at the 2023 Grammys. Red latex, fire everywhere, devil horns shining under the spotlight. It wasn't just a performance, it felt like a message. Their song, Unholy, already carried controversy, but the staging took it to a whole new level. People weren't dancing, they were staring, trying to figure out what they were watching. Churches spoke out. Parents complained. Viewers said they had to change the channel. On Twitter and TikTok, the comments were wild, straight up satanic. This isn't music, it's a ritual. Mission complete. They got what they wanted, attention. It didn't matter what Sam and Kim meant by it, the public saw symbolism. They saw the horns, the flames, the cage dancers, and said, yup, this is Hollywood showing us who's in charge. Even casual fans who don't usually buy into conspiracies said it felt more like a ceremony than a performance. Like something was happening that the audience wasn't supposed to understand, only witness. And now, there's another name people are watching closely, Choppa. He exploded almost overnight, chart-topping hits, big features, and then suddenly he's at the Met Gala, posing for cameras like he'd been a superstar for years. Success like that always raises questions. And the internet doesn't wait long before connecting dots. The moment Choppa showed up in heavy pearls and a look that blended masculine and feminine energy, the theories started flying. People zoomed in on every detail of his outfit. Why the pearls? Why the eyes in the jewelry? What's with the androgynous theme again? The comments looked like detective notes. Fans were comparing him to other artists who changed their look right before or right after their big breakthrough. It's become a pattern too obvious for people to ignore. The industry glow-up doesn't just mean better clothes, it means a shift in identity. New fashion, new attitude, sometimes a new personality. Because here's what observers keep saying, it always starts the same way. Fresh artist. Natural style. Authentic energy. Then fame hits, and so does the transformation. Suddenly everything is darker, flashier, louder, and a whole lot less true to how the artist started. Whenever that switch flips, fans say, okay, they've been initiated. That's why Choppa being invited to the Met Gala had people saying he'd entered a new level of the game. Not the level you reach on talent alone, the level where the gatekeepers decide you're useful now. Because nobody just stumbles into the most exclusive fashion event in the world. Someone has to unlock that door for you. And once you walk through that door, the whispers begin. People say Hollywood doesn't just shape careers, it shapes identities. The moment they invest in you, they want a return. And the look they push on artists lately? Gender bending, androgyny, symbolism that goes against tradition and faith. The public sees it as rebellion. The industry sees it as branding. But the conspiratorial side of the internet sees it as something much deeper, a signature of ownership. That's why Shaboozey is suddenly under a microscope. Not because people hate him, not because they're jealous, but because they've seen this movie before. A rising star, a sudden makeover, and the kind of success that comes too fast and too perfectly to be pure coincidence. So here's the question that keeps showing up in comment sections. Is Shaboozey just a talented artist getting the recognition he deserves? Or is he the latest recruit in an industry that requires a piece of your soul before it hands you a crown? As always, the truth hides in plain sight. Hollywood doesn't speak, it performs. And the performances are getting louder. Comments were wild. Hollywood turned him out. Bro went from masculine to feminine in a year. Some said he did it on purpose, that this was his initiation moment. That's become the new pattern. Every rising star gets accused of proving their loyalty by doing something off, something embarrassing, something that makes the world talk. And behind all of it sits one uncomfortable question: why humiliation? Why make people do that? Actor Mel Gibson once put it bluntly: humiliation is Hollywood's favorite weapon. Once they break your pride in front of the world, they own you. You'll do anything to get that light back on you, even if it means selling your dignity for another hit, another role, another headline. Most people's biggest fear is public humiliation. But for some in that world, it's part of the deal. And just when that conversation was fading, NLE Choppa reignited it himself. He dropped a video literally titled, "I did a humiliation ritual and I passed." He wasn't hiding it, he said it proudly, like it was a test he'd aced. He even said he stayed rooted in prayer and faith through it all. That's what shocked people most, calling something holy that's supposed to break you. The internet blew up with questions, confusion, and theories. And through it all, Choppa kept saying the same thing: I walked with God through my humiliation. Why humiliation? Of all the things they could make you do, why choose that? Mel Gibson once said it straight: humiliation is Hollywood's favorite weapon. It's the one thing every celebrity dreads most. Because once they strip your pride in front of the whole world, they own you. From that moment on, you'll do anything to keep that spotlight from fading, even if it means trading away your dignity for one more hit record or movie deal. For most people, public humiliation is their biggest fear. But in that world, it's a test, a price of entry. And just when that whole conversation started to fade away, NLE Choppa threw gasoline on the fire. Out of nowhere, he dropped a YouTube video titled, "I did a humiliation ritual and I passed." He wasn't hiding it either. He said it proudly, like he'd just won a championship. "I passed my humiliation ritual with all honors, with flying colors." But what made people stop and stare wasn't the bragging. It was what came next. Choppa said he went through his ritual while walking with God. He claimed he stayed grounded in prayer, searched for answers, and stayed firm in faith the whole time. "The only difference between my humiliation ritual and everyone else's," he said, "is that I was walking with God the whole way, rooted in prayer, rooted in his hands." That's where things got confusing. The internet was like, wait, how can something meant to degrade you also be holy? That contradiction set social media on fire. Soon after, Choppa doubled down. In another clip, he started flexing his success, saying no one in the game could touch him. Whoever made that complex list, he said, "Man, you need to go do rock and roll or something. 21 platinum, 18 platinum, 6 or 7 gold. Go check the certifications. Tell me who's beating me, bro." But after the backlash hit, he pulled back. He said he wasn't himself that day, that he'd been angry when he filmed it. He admitted, "That was the first time in a long time you saw that side of me. When I recorded that video, I wasn't calm. I was mad. But by then, it was too late." The internet never forgets. And once again, that same old pattern showed up: blow up. Do something humiliating. Call it growth. Then act like it never happened. That's exactly what Katt Williams had been warning about for years. He said it plain: the #1 job of someone who's sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it never happened. That's the performance. People laughed at him, said he was paranoid. But he wasn't joking, he was revealing the blueprint. In his interview with Shannon Sharpe, Katt said he'd been offered $50 million not once, but 4 times to play along with Hollywood's dark side. All he had to do was keep quiet, attend the special parties, and do what they asked. But he refused. "I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times, he said. just to protect my integrity and that purity I told you about. Because when Diddy wants to party, you gotta tell him no. And I did. That's what separates Katt from most. He's not chasing acceptance, he's been exposing the truth since before half these young rappers even had a chain. People used to think he was just being funny, cracking jokes for clout. But now, everything he warned about is unfolding right in front of our eyes. The disturbing part? Most people still choose to ignore it, because it's easier to laugh than to believe Hollywood could really be that dark. And as Katt once put it, in that world, not all parties are just parties. Some doors, once you walk through them, you never come back the same. Sell your soul, trade your morals, or sacrifice something you love. It's almost like a formula now. Every major star's name has been wrapped in rumors. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Doja Cat, all accused of going through some kind of initiation to reach that next level. And when someone dares to speak up, the industry calls them crazy or unstable. Just look at Kanye. For years, he's been shouting about sacrifices and control in the entertainment world. He even said it himself, that his own mother was part of the price he paid for success. "I don't care who you are," he said. "I'm not serving nobody but God. My mama was sacrificed." Then he started naming names: Michael Jordan's father, Bill Cosby's son, Dr. Dre's son, saying these losses weren't coincidences. According to him, it's all part of a bigger system built to control and silence the ones who won't play along. They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, but they can't control me, he said. And that's when everything changed. Deals vanished. Brands dropped him. The same people who once praised him started calling him unhinged. Some say the industry didn't just blacklist him, they tried to break him. He's claimed they even tried to drug him into silence. "They diagnosed me wrong. Tried to load me up on lithium," he said. "When I asked how much they wanted to give me, it took them 4 days to answer. If I had taken it, I wouldn't be here right now." He said if he'd followed their plan, they would have turned him into another tragic headline: "We miss him. He was troubled, but we loved his music." Just like Britney Spears. That's the pattern people point to. Speak out, and suddenly you're crazy. Rebel, and you're dangerous. It's why so many stay quiet. They've seen what happens when you don't. But still, the pattern keeps repeating. Every time someone hits peak fame, something strange follows: a public meltdown, a shocking outfit, a ritual performance that changes how fans see them. Of course, not everyone believes in the ritual theory. Some say it's all just art, performance, fashion, creative freedom. The horns, the flames, the wild looks, just part of the show. And maybe that's true for some. But here's the thing, after those performances, a lot of artists start acting different. Their image changes. Their energy shifts. And fans can't help but wonder what really happened behind those closed doors. Something changes after that moment. Their whole energy shifts: the way they talk, the way they dress, even the way they move. It's like they're not the same person anymore. Suddenly, everything feels off. The style turns gender-bending. The music gets darker. The message starts to sound different. That's what's got people paying attention. When a rapper who built his name on street anthems suddenly pops out dressed like a gothic priest in latex, you can't help but wonder what really happened behind those closed doors. And honestly, that's what Katt Williams has been warning us about all along. The fame game has rules, and none of them are free. You either play the clown, follow the script, or they make sure you fade away. So when NLE Choppa said he passed his humiliation ritual, people didn't take it lightly. To some, it sounded like confirmation, proof of how deep the industry really goes. Online, folks have been loud about it. One user said the humiliation ritual was him dressing feminine, making people think he was gay, and suddenly supporting the LGBT community. Y'all gotta read between the lines. Another person wrote, "You can't serve God and the devil at the same time." Now, people are split. Some say Choppa really passed through a test, that he paid his price for fame. Others think he's just another pawn in the industry's twisted game. Either way, the question hangs in the air: was Katt Williams right? Is Hollywood really built to break you, just so it can own you? Hit the comments, because this one runs deep. And if you're here for the real, unfiltered truth, the kind of stories the mainstream won't touch, don't scroll just yet. Stay tuned. The next chapter's even wilder.